One moment of madness. A split second that would play a huge part in the career of a footballer on the verge of international recognition. On an afternoon of frustration for Arsenal's players and supporters, one man could take no more. Paul Davis was about to inflict pain on both an opponent and his own future. In September 1988, Arsenal found themselves trailing 2-0 at Highbury against Chris Nicholls' Southampton. George Graham's team looked condemned to another home defeat, having lost 2 weeks before to Aston Villa. With 79 minutes played, there was an air of desperation as the supposed title contenders looked for a way back into the match. A foul on David Rockesall in front of the East Stand changed the complexion of the match. After the free kick had been awarded, Rockesall picked himself up as Martin Hayes and Michael Thomas approached referee David Excel. With all eyes focusing on the official and the complaining players, Davis moved towards Southampton midfielder Glenn Cockerill. Davis was a cultured player, a graceful midfielder who had justifiably been selected in Bobby Robson's England squad for the friendly against Denmark 4 days before the Southampton fixture. His magical left foot could unlock defenses. Yet it would be his left hand that would rattle both Cockerill and Southampton. Cockerill was side on to Davis as he too concentrated on the events surrounding the free kick. Soon he would be a crumpled mess on the Highbury turf. A left hook from Davis sent Cockerill to the floor. Play was delayed as Cockerill received treatment. Dazed and confused, Cockerill received treatment before resuming the match. To add insult to Cockerill's injury, Arsenal were immediately handed a lifeline when Excel awarded a penalty in front of the North Bank, adjudging Kevin Moore to have handled in the box. Brian Marwood converted from the spot with 8 minutes remaining, although Excel would eventually add on 9 minutes of stoppage time, much to the fury of the away team. Crucially, Davis's hook had not been spotted by any of the match officials. Yet Southampton's players had a fair idea of what had happened. Davis was targeted as the match continued. Take a look at Jimmy Case's wild kick towards Davis as Brian Marwood scores Arsenal's first goal, and with 6 minutes to go, Graham removed Davis from the firing line. The game stretched on and on. "I played 9.5 minutes over," Excel stated. That covered 5 lengthy injuries and quite a bit of time wasting. An Alan Smith header in the 97th minute earned Arsenal a priceless point in a season where the title would be decided by the barest of margins. In the immediate aftermath, both managers had their say. The reason for the additional time was that there was another team wasting time from the off, Graham protested. "I have a dressing room that feels cheated," Nicol replied. "It felt to me as if we were going to play until Arsenal scored." However, these timekeeping arguments were a mere footnote compared to the news that broke on Saturday night. ITN coverage caught Davis in the act, news reports highlighting the Arsenal midfielder striding towards Cockerill before delivering the knockout blow. Davis was in hot water and now faced trial by television. The spokesperson Glenn Cockerill indicated that the Football Association cannot ignore something which has been seen by millions. At the start of the 1987-88 season, the FA imposed a 6-match ban on Steve Walsh after the Leicester defender broke the jaw of Shrewsbury's David Geddes. As Walsh was sent off, he automatically received a 3-match ban, making 9 matches in total. A precedent had been set. Cockerill had spent Saturday night in hospital, surgeons operating on the double fracture to his jaw. With a steel plate inserted in his cheekbone, Cockerill was forced to eat liquid food for 2 weeks. "I did nothing to provoke such a brutal attack," he slurred as he left hospital. Although rumors circulated of Cockerill taking legal action, he left the decision to his club. A year before, Swindon's Chris Kamara had been fined in court after breaking the cheekbone of Shrewsbury's Jim Melrose. But Southampton decided to leave the matter in the hands of the FA. With a hearing date set just 12 days after the match, Davis and Arsenal waited anxiously as they presented evidence to the FA disciplinary committee. But the case for the defence failed. The FA handed out a 9-match ban and a £3,000 fine to Davis. "The eyes of the world are on football at the moment," the FA chief executive designate, Graham Kelly, admitted. "We have to respond in that light." The Professional Footballers Association's chief executive, Gordon Taylor, accepted the decision. It is a very severe penalty, but we've got a very severe problem in the game. This could make sure it never happens again. Through it all, the arguments for and against trial by TV were discussed. The referee is still the ultimate arbiter on the field, but TV is a fact of life, Curtin stated after the hearing. The FA did not act simply because of what was shown on ITN. Like it or not, increased television coverage would bring incidents like this into focus. The floodgates had been opened. So, what had provoked the normally laid-back Davis to react in this way? Since his debut in 1980, Davis had only been booked 14 times in over 300 games, and this incident seemed out of character. Rumors circulated regarding comments made by Cockerill to Davis, but these were dismissed. In August 2022, Davis finally spoke on the matter. In his Arsenal and After book written with Tom Watt, Davis mentions the frustration that had been building that day. That game changed my life. From the first whistle, Glenn was trying to leave his mark on me. Every tackle, he'd be trying to physically hurt or intimidate me. Nasty stuff. The ref wasn't seeing any of what was going on. I wasn't getting free kicks. It had a drip, drip, drip effect on me. I was getting increasingly frustrated with the injustice of the situation and took matters into my own hands. As soon as Davis connected with Cockerill, he immediately regretted his actions. Once he discovered he was headline news on ITV, Davis knew he would pay a heavy price. With Arsenal performing so well in Davis's absence, the midfielder struggled to get back into the team after his ban had been served. It took until January for Davis to start again, a 3-1 win at Everton, and although he would score a fine diving header against Charlton in March, a thigh injury would soon end his season. His final full match of the campaign would be a 3-1 win in an awkward reunion against Cockerill at the Dell. "I'm left with regrets about that day," Davis admits. "I made a mistake and paid the price for it. The whole business damaged me, damaged my career and damaged my reputation." Davis never played for England, perhaps one of the best uncapped players of his generation. Davis did manage to play enough matches to gain a championship medal come the glorious denouement at Anfield. Sat behind the goal that Michael Thomas found himself bearing down on, Davis celebrated the goal just like any Arsenal supporter that night. It was a far from ideal season, but at least it delivered a bonus for Davis and Arsenal right at the end.